Hello, I'm Cynthia Pierce at Keller Williams Realty, and today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Mark Durden with D.S. Murphy Appraisers. And I want him to tell you a little bit about himself and his career and how he got into doing appraisals. And as you can guess, appraisals in this market are really critical. With an escalating market that we've had the last couple of years, I think the appraisers are just running crazy to keep up. Is that not true?
Yes, we are, Cynthia. We are, absolutely. It's been a very busy time for us with the market conditions the way they are.
And then how long have you been doing appraisals then?
Well, I've been appraising for 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and you're only
it's been
12,
a while.
so this is crazy.
Exactly, yeah.
And what kind of appraisals do you normally see or have to do? Like you're doing for a lender, for a purchase, but you also do the other appraisals. Tell them about that.
Right. The majority of the appraisals that I do are what we call consultation appraisals, where it's designed for a homeowner and a realtor to better understand the value of the property in order to list it to sell it.
That's really important because people think their prices may be up here, maybe they're just right here.
Exactly. A lot of people don't really know what the value of their home is.
Right.
And so it's important, especially in this market, to price it right from the very beginning.
And to see it through an appraiser's eyes, because we're realtors and we, know the market, but an appraiser has different criteria that they use, which are terribly important if we're going to get to the closing table, that you're able to get that value for the contract too. So it really helps. Are you experiencing sales of homes above list price now? Is that?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. The majority of the contracts that we see are usually selling above the list price.
Wow, yeah.
Because of the demands being placed and the low supply.
And then how does that affect you making an appraisal? Like how do you find comparables that are now above the market as we knew it at the time?
Well, it's very important, especially in this time in these market conditions, to make sure you're looking at the most recent market sales, market activity, because those are the most reflective of what's happening under today's circumstances.
And I know in the past you used to be able to go back 1 year to look for comparables, but now I bet you want to go back, how far?
Well, I really want to stay within 90 days.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So you really are looking at what has the sales that are of that moment, pretty much. You have to, because it's changed so much.
Yeah, just if you think about it, a year ago, the market was still escalating, but it was very different than today, and even 6 months ago.
Oh yeah.
In the late winter, it was a very different market.
Do you take into account the number of offers that someone had on their house when they sell it? Like if they say, well, we had 10 written offers, does that impact the desirability? How does that translate into appraiser?
It's a very critical piece of information that the realtor needs to share with the appraiser, because it shows demand.
Okay.
And that's something that you have to account for.
Wow, I know, and that's something that I was hoping that you would account for. Something I always tell an appraiser.
Sure.
And are there any type of formulas that you use when people have updated their bathrooms and their kitchen and they call it renovated? Now, I know from my perspective, sometimes the renovation was 10 years ago. And it's not today's trendy colors and so forth, but the seller may think, well, I updated my home. Well, they did.
Well, there's not a formula that we assign to any renovation that's been done. It's a matter of comparing it with other homes that have similar renovations.
Okay.
And like you said, you need to look at renovations that were done in the same time period.
Got it. Okay, so you do.
Yeah, a renovation 10 years ago might be more of an update today.
Thank you.
Instead of a renovation.
I think that affects my own home. And I have one other question that is a burning question in my mind is, I see a high desirability for homes with pools in this market since the pandemic. You remember how it used to be that a pool was either a big plus or a big minus? There was no in between. You either wanted one or you didn't want one. What are you finding now? Are they a plus or a minus in appraisal?
Well, they are a big plus. Yeah, since the pandemic started, more and more people want to have their own pool. Even in subdivisions that have swim and tennis facilities, a lot of those homeowners are deciding to put in their own pool.
And I have one other question too. What would you recommend that sellers do to improve the marketability or saleability value of their home? Because a lot of times it's, it could be something simple, but what do you see? Right. What translates as value in an appraiser's eyes?
Well, that's a very good question. And in the vast majority of the markets, kitchens and master suites sell houses.
Mm-hmm.
And if those are renovated to today's market expectations, those are going to bring the highest return.
Yeah, really, really. So it's still that's the way it was in the past too, that people want those kitchens and master baths.
They really do.
But I consider it the heartbeat of the home because that's where, you gather pretty much. And even at parties, everybody hangs out in the kitchen no matter how small it is.
That's true. And beyond that though, finishing basements, again, to today's market expectation is very important. A lot of basements today have a second kitchen or an in-law suite or their own media room or theater, and that's a big plus too.
Yeah, because everybody wants to stay home and they want to have all their stuff there too, theaters. Wow, Mark, thank you so much for coming today. This has been great, and I really want to encourage anyone thinking about wanting to know the value of your home, contact me and Mark, and we'll be happy to do market analysis and from an appraiser's perspective, because he is going to be much more nuts and bolts and square footages and things like that are very technical, and I evaluate the market. So thank you for listening. Let us know if you have any questions. Okay, thank you.